Romero Cash is a self-described folk artist and author of numerous books of the southwestern culture where she's from. But mostly she's known for the remarkable inventiveness and wide variety of the images that she produces. We met in her Santa Fe studio in a neighborhood that she's moved back to, where she grew up.
Basically what you're intimating is that each of us has somewhere or someone, something where the work comes from, where the inspiration, the creativity, etc. My father always believed that your work comes from the Holy Spirit. And he used to say to me each morning when you get up, if you will thank the Holy Spirit not only for getting you this day, but also to guide you during the day so that your work will be what you want it to be. I personally believe that all my work is influenced by the Holy Spirit. You may call that my muse, and that's where my work comes from, and I really believe it. It's on a higher plane, a higher level, something we don't understand. I am completely self-taught, and I was a legal secretary for years, and now I'm an artist, and it all goes back to my faith, not only in myself, but in a higher level, that things are going to be provided for. I don't think I'll ever run out of ideas. I think I've got enough ideas right now to last me another 20, 30 years, and hopefully I'll be given the time and the creative ability to create them. Creativity also can be a condition to where you have to feed it all the time. You have to constantly nurture it. You can't let it move beyond you.
How do you mean move beyond you? That's interesting.
Well, sometimes if you're not nurturing something in your life, it will tend to start disappearing and be harder to find. So I find that if I am continuously addressing my need to be creative, it stays with me.
Like a tool that you keep sharp.
Exactly.
You were talking about, even when you're sleeping or if you're in the backyard soaking up the sun, you're still, use the term gathering.
Yes.
You know? So there's frittering and there's gathering.
There is. Frittering is absolutely wasting time when you probably should be in the studio. And you don't feel like it for whatever reason. You know, with as you age, your memory does not retain as many of the ideas that you're thinking about. So consequently...
You think so, really?
I write everything down. In the middle of the night, if I'm thinking, oh, you need to do a box, or you need to paint this, or you need to create an image. I have a tablet by my pillow that I write these things down. I absolutely love creating this type of work.
This moves you beyond.
Oh, definitely. The type of work that moves me beyond everything that I, quote, should be doing. I think that the work of an artist is much harder than going to a daily job with a corporation where you're going to get a paycheck every 2 weeks. In my culture, women were taken care of by the men. The men were the bacon bringer homers. And the women stayed home and had and raised the children. My father did the same thing. My mother stayed home. I just somewhere along the line realized that I wanted to do something else, and I was capable of doing something else. One of my ex-husbands, I say that in jest, one of my ex-husbands said to me, my last husband said to me, that I would not survive without him. That I would starve to death, I would be broke, I would be out on the street.
Well, it was good for him to think that.
Exactly. And you know, at the time I might have believed that. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It takes a great deal of courage and stamina to make art your life. One of the reasons for creating Madonnas or figures that don't actually exist is because we have stereotypically given ourselves over to accepting what is, what happens to be, what the norm is. But in the case of Valentine's Day, for instance, when I was creating Saint Valentina, I thought, well, what is the reason the woman can't be the giver of Valentines? Not that Saint Valentine was established for Valentine's Day.
Right.
He just happens to have been somebody latched onto the idea, and there he is.
The art came down through your family.
Well, my parents were creative. They started their little cottage industry when they were in their 50s. My dad had retired. He was a sheet metal man by trade. And on the side, on weekends, he started creating more functional, usable items out of tin. Kleenex boxes, switch plates, chandeliers, that type of thing. I remember not really understanding what tin work was about, you know. It was just something they were doing, kind of arts and craftsy. But I was wrong. What they were doing was they were perpetuating a tradition which had started in New Mexico in the 1860s, 1870s. And so my parents were just being responsible for a resurgence of the work and beginning to do it on a level which was providing many more people with functional pieces for their homes. My mother asked me to help her with something because my mother didn't paint, and she had created this wonderful niche out of a ham can. Great big Virginia ham. They come in tin cans. So, creative spirit that she was, after soldering a base of metal onto this ham can, asked me if I would paint something in the can, in the piece for her, so that it would look like a small shrine. And I created this painting for her inside the ham can, and it was of the patron saint of cooking, which is San Pasquale. She did 2 ham cans because she liked the way that one came out so well. Well, we went to Spanish Market that July because my mother needed some help, and I started to go to Spanish markets with her to help her and my dad sell. And I was surprised that this piece flew off the table. We hadn't barely put it down, that it sold right away, and then the next one sold right away, and I thought, wow, somebody actually wants my work. So the next year is when I started painting like my sister did on boards in a different style, and I was, you know, very luckily discovered that people actually liked what I was doing. And so that was, you know, that was the origins of my work. And then I'm really curious, and I can't stand to not know why somebody was doing things, where these things came from, and my curiosity and a lot of research resulted in several books on saints, santos, and shrines and churches and things of that nature, because it just wasn't enough for them to be. I had to know where they came from, who made them, who were these people, what were they doing, and so that type of curiosity also helps in, can I do this? You know, I see something that's really complicated, and so I'm thinking, okay, will this translate to wood? And so I end up, with a little bit of help sometimes, being able to master creating a piece that at first I thought was really difficult. This one was called the Yellow Polka Dot Bikini. Realizing that women have weight problems and don't always look great in a bathing suit. and I wanted her to reflect that she was comfortable wearing a yellow polka dot bikini.
Itsy bitsy.
An itsy bitsy one at that. You know, she's doing the backstroke through life.